Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Mukesh English. Is someone born creative or opportunity makes someone creative? Can we control someone's creativity? To answer these questions, let's analyze the famous work of R.K. Laxman, cartooning. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Lakshman was an Indian cartoonist, illustrator and humorist. He is best known for his creation The Common Man and for his daily cartoon strip You Said It in the Times of India, which started in 1951. He started his career as a part-time cartoonist and working mostly for the local newspapers and magazines. While as a college student, he illustrated his older brother R.K. Narayan's stories in the Hindu newspaper. His first full-time job was as a political cartoonist for the Free Press Journal in Mumbai. Later, he joined the Times of India and became famous for the Common Man character, which turned out to be the turning point in R.K. Lakshman's life. The lesson cartooning is an excerpt from R.K. Lakshman's autobiography, The Tunnel of Time. It narrates the childhood experience of R.K. Lakshman. It highlights the significance of creativity. So dear friends, the chapter begins with the physical appearance of R.K. Lakshman's teacher who used to go out to smoke and leave the class to the class monitor. His appearance was quite classic stereotype. He was lean and dark with overgrown hair from his upper lip. His front teeth were like rabbit's teeth. He used to wear a turban, a tight coat and dhoti. Smell of BD could easily be observed anytime. So whenever he used to go to smoke, he used to hand over the class to the class monitor, as usual, how we do. This class monitor used to narrate the same story about the crow and the princess and the crocodile and the monkey or the donkey or the court jester. But the class students, they never used to pay attention to his stories and they used to keep on talking. So the monitor used to take down the names of the students who talk and hand over to the teacher when he comes back after smoking. As usual, the teacher wanted to go for smoke, but this time instead of handing over the class to the class monitor, the teacher gave an interesting task to the class. The task was to draw a leaf, any leaf. It was quite exciting and all the boys started to imagine a leaf. One student drew a banana leaf that was too big. It went out of the wooden frame of the slate. Another boy asked the teacher if he could draw an elephant. Thus, all the students were busy in drawing. As soon as the teacher returned from his usual task of smoking bidi, he told the students to stand in the queue and began to critically examine the efforts one by one. By murmuring comments and giving marks, he twisted a boy's ear or brought the cane down on the leg of another. When it was the writer's turn, he stared at the drawing for a long time and he asked the author whether he has drawn it himself. The author was quite frightened, but finally he told that yes, he has drawn it himself. But to author's surprise and joy, the teacher held his slate up before the class and announced how nicely Lakshman has drawn the leaf. He then turned to the writer and he said that he will be an artist one day and he told him to keep it up. He gave him 10 marks out of 10. He was very impressed by the perfect shape of his people leaf and the details of the veins branching out along the midrib. The writer has seen these leaves countless times, strewn on the road under the peepal tree, and he could draw them effortlessly. The writer was inspired by this unexpected encouragement. The author was inspired by his teacher's appreciation. Even he started to practice on the floors, walls, and the doors of his house. He had sketched his father sitting in a chair and reading a newspaper, like a Roman senator with grey hair circling his bald head. It was sketched on the floor. His mother identified this caricature. She began to laugh and invited his father to have a look at it. He became angry and ordered the author to wipe it off. But humorously, his mother insisted it should remain till the others came home and saw it. R.K. Lakshman never liked the arithmetic classes, most in the school. He was especially weak in arithmetic. It was a nightmare for him to count or to distribute 15 mangoes equally among the three people. He used to choose a seat at the back during this period. What the writer enjoyed most was listening to the stories and the poems, and he paid his unflagging attention to the text, meaning, and moral content of the lessons taught by the teacher. He could remember the historical references, names of mountains, oceans, rivers in geography, but he was never interested in the arithmetic class. R.K. Laxman liked to read prose which taught the moral values such as truthfulness, honesty, showing respect to elders, and so on, expressed through the characters in folklore and mythology. One of the most powerful poems was about a cow called 𝘾𝙀𝙀𝙀𝘾 who was targeted by a hungry tiger and demanded that she become his meal. 𝘾𝙀𝙀𝙀 promised to come back and offer herself as his dinner after suckling her hungry calf. The tiger allowed her to go, but to his utter surprise, she was true to her promise and returned after some time. And the tiger was so moved by 𝘾𝙀𝙀𝙀's honesty that he cried bitterly and threw himself from the edge of the cliff. The other equally unforgettable poem, which were known to all educated Kannadigas of that era, was about a woodcutter. One day, a woodcutter accidentally dropped his iron axe into a pond. God wanted to test his honesty. Disguised as a fisherman, God retrieved the axe from the bottom of the pool and gave it back to the woodcutter. But upon finding that the axe was made of gold, the man returned it, saying that it was not his. God again plunged into the pool and came up with another axe. This time the axe was made of silver, which was also refused by the woodcutter. Finally, the old iron axe was retrieved and offered, and the fisherman accepted it with delight. God was pleased with his honesty. Revealing his divine identity, he blessed the woodcutter and rewarded him suitably. So R.K. Laxman was more interested in such stories rather than the arithmetic classes. As usual, one day the writer was attending arithmetic class without paying attention. All the students were told to copy the problem from the blackboard and solve it. Everybody was busy in solving the problem, but it was not reachable to R.K. Laxman. He was clueless. Actually, he was doodling and sketching figures in the margin of his exercise book. Suddenly, he felt a piercing pain in his left ear. The teacher was twisting it and at the same time pulling him up by calling him rascal. He shouted and he asked if he was making fun of him. And he asked for the reason. The writer remained quiet, did not answer. The teacher shouted, showing the exercise book on his face, pointing to a creature like a tiger cub he had drawn. He slapped the writer's cheek and asked in a dangerous low tone, "Who is it he making fun of?" If it is not him, somehow the crisis subsided after arguments on both sides, with the teacher insisting it was his distorted image, while the writer pleaded in tears that it was only a harmless doodle of a tiger cub. It was no doubt a very unpleasant incident for the writer. Though it was an unpleasant experience for R.K. Laxman being beaten by the arithmetic teacher for drawing his caricature as a tiger cub, but many years later he realized that the confrontation with the arithmetic teacher was indeed beneficial. It was a moment of discovery vital to his understanding of the art of caricature. Behind the mask of the teacher's public face, a person like a tiger cub could be found. There were other teachers whose looks could be associated with those of animals and birds. An active imagination fueled by keen sense of absurdity could even see the human resemblance to inanimate objects such as old buildings, the shape of bottles in a drugstore, or to certain models of automobiles. This observation would certainly seem crazy to those with normal vision and thinking habits. And finally, a cartoonist born with a cock-eyed vision manipulates a face or a human situation and distorts it without losing the essence of humor. Hence, we have seen here how R.K. Lakshman's cartooning talent was emerged from classroom to real life. Creativity has no limitation. Someone should have the ability to observe the creativity and encourage to grow it. Or someone really requires only one kick to turn the imagination into creativity. This is what we have seen about R.K. Lakshman in this excerpt of his autobiography. Undeniably, India's most famous cartoonist R.K. Lakshman's talent lay in playing with irony, packing a punch in a deceptively light tone. A great salute to this cartoonist who amused India for decades. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video would definitely help you to understand the lesson Cartooning by R.K. Lakshman. For more videos, do subscribe and comment. For any online coaching, online classes, you can contact me on 6361617669. Thank you so much. Keep watching Mukesh English.